Hi everybody, we're gonna go over the menu review for Panera Bread because I haven't done that one yet, and I feel like a lot of people go there. So I'm gonna go over the breakfast. I'm gonna go over the food things. I'm not gonna go over drinks because we already all know that like unsweetened plain coffee, unsweetened plain tea are gonna be your better options here. For drinks like they have been through Dunkin', Starbucks, the whole 9 yards. So I'm gonna go through breakfast and then I'll go through a couple of their other meals. So breakfast, all of them are not really super duper high calorically. Really, the only one is the sausage, scrambled egg, and cheese on an Asiago bagel. That one is, it's $8.20. That's also not terrible for the amount that you're getting. For the amount you could be getting for that allotted amount of calories could be way more. Besides like something that's this big, you can get something that's like this big. So fullness wise, that might not work out well. But they're also not terribly high in sodium. Like I said, the Asiago bagel one by far the highest. Everything else, it would be your sodium intake, at least half of it, if not more, of the day. So if you do decide to get breakfast from here, just go in knowing that you're not going to be eating really any other processed food for the day. Protein wise, they're pretty high in protein depending upon what you're getting. If you're getting obviously something like eggs or any type of breakfast meat, cheese, things like that are going to be much higher in protein than if you're just getting something that's kind of plain. It's looking like honestly some of your best bets are going to be that are high in protein, that are low in sugar, that are lower in sodium, is going to be the avocado, egg white, spinach, and cheese on a sprouted grain bagel flat. That's going to be a good one to get. It's not 19 grams of protein, not super high in sodium. It's only 680, which is pretty good for something that is fast food. Some of your higher protein ones are going to be your Chipotle chicken, scrambled egg, and avocado, and on artisan ciabatta. That one is a lot higher in sodium, but not necessarily inherently terrible. That would be one that would be a good choice for you to get. Everything else is kind of like, neither here nor there. You could always get scrambled egg and cheese. That's going to be a good one. If you're trying to make like the healthy option and get the oatmeal, it's really not that high in protein. I would definitely recommend going a sandwich route over that. But that's basically your breakfast. Got to scroll all the way through all of these drinks that I don't care about right now. And I'm also looking at their document. So this is the Panera Bread nutrition information for the US. This is from 6/21/23. So it's pretty recently updated with what they've got going on. And you can see it in a lot more detail on here. I'm just going through and picking out kind of the best ones to get. We're back at food. So we got warm bowls, flatbread pizzas, and mac and cheeses. I don't know about you, but I used to love the Panera mac and cheese, and I know that is so high in sodium. Along with everything else in this category. You are in the thousands for everything. Some things have 4,000 milligrams of sodium, which is way over the amount. Everything that you get that is a warm bowl, a flatbread pizza, or a mac and cheese, literally everything is your sodium intake for the day. Do not add salt to anything else. Do not eat any other prepackaged thing. That is it. That is all that you're gonna get with it. So I would not really super duper recommend anything here. They are very, very high in protein. It's also a majority of your caloric load if you are counting calories. You're not getting your bang for your buck calorically, basically, in this. It's something that's a small portion that's really high in calories. You're not getting a bulk high calorie thing. You're getting like a small thing that's a high calorie, which isn't really great. The only thing that's good about them is that they're pretty high in protein, with some things as much as 45 grams of protein. But the sodium doesn't outweigh it. The sugars don't outweigh it. You're looking at 27 grams of sugar for some of these things. And it just isn't worth it. So I would just totally skip this in completion. Even if you were like, oh, I'm just going to get like a small mac and cheese. It's not worth it. Not alone with the sodium. It's not worth it. I would not recommend it. Going into, obviously we know pastries and sweets are going to have a little bit higher in sugar things. So depends on what you're looking for, but wouldn't recommend it. You can get better pastries from your local baker. And then we go into the salads because I know a lot of people get like soups and salads and things like that or like you pick two or whatever. From Panera Bread. So this is giving me items for if it's this like Asian sesame with chicken, it's going to give you the half and the whole. So if you're doing the you pick two, you'll be able to see, oh, this is half. This is what this is what the whole is. And it goes all the way down all their salads. Highest protein one is going to be your Caesar with chicken, the whole salad. Followed by the Asian sesame with chicken. Again, that whole salad. The halves are about half of that. They're about 15, 16 grams of protein. Not super high on the calories. Some of the sugars, depending on the dressing that you're doing, if it's like a citrusy or like an appley or like something really that sounds sugary, is going to have a lot more sugar in that dressing versus the ones that aren't. Sodium wise, they're not terribly high in sodium. Salads are kind of the way to go when you're going with Panera Bread because it's going to get you a little bit of a happy medium of everything as long as you're picking the right ones. So the ones that you would want to get are like the whole salads or the half salads, but I'm saying whole based off of their protein. The Asian sesame chicken, the Caesar with chicken, the Fuji apple chicken without pecans. Otherwise, if you're just looking for a plain old salad with not a lot of protein in it, you can go with the Greek, but it's not super, super protein. Going on to more salads here, higher in protein. It's not terribly high in sugar. Is the Green Goddess Cobb with chicken is going to be another good one. Again, it's going to have basically your sodium intake for the day, so I wouldn't recommend doing too much. The Southwest Caesar salad, again, another one that's lower in sugar for that dressing. Make sure you're getting it with chicken. And then the last one is the strawberry poppy seed. That one is a little bit higher in sugars. It's at 25 grams, which is basically your entire day, but does have 27 grams of protein. So it's not the best one, but it's one that's there that's going to get you, your fruit if you are like not had fruit today, type of thing. Going into sandwiches, we're going to be kind of bringing up in sodium here again. So again, not a lot of bang for your buck when it comes calorically, especially with anything fast food. You're not getting big portion, a lot of calories. You're getting small portion, a lot of calories. So it's not really quite the same. Not, as I said, quite bang for your buck. So anything that is low in sodium is not going to have that much protein in it, especially if you're doing like the avocado sandwiches. Whole and half, it's only got 7 grams protein. But the sodium is one of the lowest ones. It's at 330. Everything else, you're spiking up to your daily amount of sodium. Like I said, if you're going to have something from Panera Bread, that is your sodium intake for the day. Please don't go and eat a bag of chips type of thing. Okay. Higher in protein sandwiches are going to be the Black Forest ham and Gouda Melt on a baguette. You're also going to have your bacon turkey Bravo on tomato basil, the whole sandwich. Those are in the 50s for grams of protein. So you are really getting a lot of protein. You are also getting a lot of sodium, almost 3,000 milligrams of sodium. So take it with a grain of salt, literally. Then we have the Chipotle chicken avocado melt on black pepper focaccia. That one's got 46 grams of protein, only 5 grams of sugar, just higher in sodium. So if you're like, no, I just want to make sure I'm getting my protein, get a sandwich. If you're not really caring that much about the salt, or if you know that this is the only fast food thing, only prepackaged, only processed thing that you're eating today, fine. Not trying to demonize any food here. Next one is going to be the classic grilled cheese whole sandwich. Actually, it's quite a bit of protein. It's got 37 grams. So that's pretty good. Next one is going to be the 34 gram of protein sandwich, the deli ham on country rustic sourdough. Obviously, if you're getting the half, you're just cutting that protein in half. So if it's 34, it's 17. Things like that. Just cut it in half. If you're not wanting that much protein, if you want to cut back on the salt a little bit, but not tremendously, get halves instead of whole sandwiches. And then maybe get the other half, like you pick two, you get half salad, half sandwich. You could do it that way where you're getting your greens and your fiber and your veggies and all of that, adding maybe chicken or something to that, or getting one of those higher proteins from the salad and then getting one of these higher protein sandwiches to get that really high protein meal with an okay-ish amount of sodium. It just depends on what you're getting, like I said. Another big ones are going to be the Green Goddess Caprese melts, the deli turkey on rustic sourdough, which, by the way, if you're going to eat bread, sourdough is the way to go with all that fermentation. It is phenomenal. Really, any chicken sandwich, you're going to have high protein in. It's just that sodium. And a lot of these halves on sodium, so like I said, a lot of them are in the 16 plus range. So your half sodiums are 800s. You don't want more than 2,300 in a day. So I would not recommend doing whole sandwiches unless you're in it for the protein, but you can do the same thing with a lot less sodium, getting a half sandwich and a half salad. Okay. I'm really just hankering in on the salt for you guys. But really any of the chickens are really fine. Nothing is really screaming out at me like absolutely terrible, because we already know the issue with fast food things is that they are higher in sodium. So going in knowing that, it's really not that big of a deal. Then we have your sides. The Greek yogurt with mixed berries is going to be the highest protein at 15. Also has a lot of sugar in it though. A lot of your sides have a lot of sugar in it besides like the bread. Bread only has 1 gram of sugar because it's bread. Also, same thing with your kettle cooked potato chips and your pickle spears. And if you're getting the summer fruit cup, guess what? They add sugar to that too. So there's that. You also could get smoothies. Smoothies are real high in sugar, especially from places like these, and I would not recommend getting them at all, just because it's not worth it sugar-wise, because you're not actually using that power to digest the sugar. It's just going straight into your pancreas to bring up your blood sugar levels and that insulin. So now we're into soup. So soups are all high in sodium, which we already knew was going to happen, but some of them are pretty high in protein. It just depends on if you're getting, so it's kind of broken up into if you're doing like a group, a bowl, a bread bowl, or a cup. So anything that has the bread bowl in it is going to be higher in protein actually. So if you're going to get it soup and you can eat bread, get it in a bread bowl, because you are going to get a lot more protein from it. Lot more protein. If you're like, oh, I just want a cup of soup, you're not going to get nearly as much protein. You're getting less than 10 grams of protein when you're doing that. Even in the ones that are like that have chicken or that have like noodles or that have cheese and things like that, you're just not getting the amount of protein that you would get with getting a bread bowl. So this is me telling you, hey, if you're going to get soup, get a bread bowl, knowing that it's going to be, like I said, a little bit saltier for a lot of these. Little bit of salt, not terrible. A lot of bit of salt, not great, especially throughout your day. So again, make sure it is the one and only salty thing that you have throughout the day. Otherwise, it's really just bringing me to their catering menu. Let's see. Yep, still catering. And they also have some grab and go stuff, but that's really it. That's really all that's all the food that I'm getting from Panera. Overall, 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 3 out of 5. Not super terrible, not the greatest. There are other things out there that are going to be better. Like if you're wanting a bowl, go to Chipotle, because it's less sodium. That's plain and simple, less sodium. Your best route for this, like I've said probably 5 or 6 times in this video, is to do like the you pick 2, where you're doing a half salad, half sandwich, because that's going to get you your maximum protein for the least amount of salt that you could potentially get from this place. Or if you're just like going to go all in on a sandwich, go all in on your sandwich, knowing that it is your salt intake for the day. If you have any questions on the Panera bread menu, feel free to drop a comment below.